All right, we're back at it again after the last mega cast. It's Slash here, and we are now officially the Windy City Cyclones. We got a team, so I'm here with my co-GM Trella
Hello.
and one of the first ever draftees of the Windy City Cyclones. We got Blues Fan 55.
What's up, boys?
So we thought this episode, fresh off the draft, would be a good time to kind of go through it and give our thoughts and talk about why we made the picks we did and talk about how it's going to affect our future and our team. If that interests anybody, and if it doesn't, we're still getting paid for it. So, at least one person will listen to it, and that's all I care about.
Yeah,
But,
hopefully your teammates listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting to get kind of a GM view of the draft. I didn't really know how it went until we were in the thick of it, and all of a sudden, we're like, oh shit, we got to look at these guys and like pick who we think is the best. Like that is fucking hard.
Yeah, the hard part. I can't imagine how stressful it probably was on you guys as someone who's never really held a job like GM or co-GM.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy when we knew to take, and we did a lot of prior scouting, so that made everything a lot easier for us. But when we got sniped, or when we got, we were kind of had a couple guys we were trying to decide over, and made it really tough. It was tough to, pick a certain player, especially when we got sniped, we were scrambling sometimes. Towards the end, mostly, because there were so many, inactives and actives just to, sift through. It was pretty tough.
I think we made out of this draft really well, though, and I'm really happy with our team. So,
yeah, I think we have arguably the best locker room out of the entire league.
Yeah, and we're active up and down the roster, except for our third-rate D. But he's even in the locker room. He's just not updating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him, and I kind of do enjoy the wiggle room we have of having a guy who obviously isn't going to complain when he's not top 4 or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
So we'll see how it changes if there's a waiver pickup that we really want. We have the first pick, so that's nice. But otherwise, I don't feel like we're really missing a needed position. Even our backup goalie's really great. So
yeah,
I'm digging it. But we can start going through the draft now because it's going to take a while. So
of course,
for not our picks, I think just maybe a little snippet of what we think about that pick. But otherwise, we'll just kind of rush through it till we get to our picks. But LA was first on the board, and we kind of knew about this ahead of time.
Dallas Weston.
Yeah, so I will preface this with Trell and I had no fucking clue who was going where for the longest time. From GMs being named, draft lottery happened, we still had no idea. Then maybe around the last couple of days and the waning hours before the draft, all of a sudden people are starting to get info, right? Weston to LA first overall, this guy at second. Yukon's looking at these guys, and it all kind of came together. Especially Maj was going around just trying to get his mock draft perfect.
Maj PM me the day of the draft and was like, "Hey, who guys taking at 5?" And I was like, "Oh, we're taking Joe, but we'll take Cal if he falls." And Maj was like, "Oh, well, Noble's going 1, and so-and-so's going 2 and 3." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you. Keep me posted." And throughout the day, he just kept messaging me like, "Hey, whoever this person's going where." So it was kind of interesting to see it unfold because I didn't know anything before that. All the GMs were keeping their tactics pretty close to them.
But it did really help out, I think, kind of knowing that top 12 at least going into it.
Yeah, it was nice. It took a lot of stress off, and it kind of let us make a decision on what we wanted to do, and I think it worked out really well for us.
Yeah, and Blues, how did you do on your mock?
Oh, I got no added TP, and I have expressed my grievances about this in the Discord. I think you've seen it before. So for a player like me who tries to get as much TP as he possibly can, it came as both a shock and disappointment.
Yeah, well, I was kind of spreading the word to some people to copy Magic's mock, but like obviously you can't get around to everybody. And I was mostly telling Edmonton people.
Yeah.
So, like, I know I was keeping Carl posted. I was keeping Clint posted because I know like we were gonna draft Clint. So.
If you didn't get good on your good TP on your mock, I wouldn't worry about it. I'm sure there'll be opportunities for you to get TP that others won't.
Yeah,
I'm
it's not
not
the end
down
of the
there.
world. If you do all your PTs and you do like a post game show every week, you'll be high. You'll be high up there.
But yeah, now going into it, your thoughts on Noble going first overall?
Well, I hadn't really been paying attention to it, but I think he was around one of the players that was a consensus first overall pick, so I wasn't really surprised.
I think it was a pretty solid pick. He knows a lot about EHM, and he covers a lot of the weaknesses that Banner and Mick Wolf have, than not knowing the sim that well. So I think it's a pretty good pick that wise. I mean, there's been some criticism about Noble as a user, considering like the stuff in his past with like the NSFL and stuff like that. But I think he's kind of turned a new leaf. It looks like so. I think it could turn out.
As someone who had experience with him in the NSFL before the whole multi thing came out, I thought he was a class guy. I didn't really see anything bad about him, so
Yeah,
I personally have
he's
nothing
been
bad to say about
nothing
him.
very good from what I've seen so far. So if he's turned a new leaf, it's a great pick. But if he's his old self, then I don't know.
He was pretty high on our board. He climbed up there for a little bit, but we decided to go another direction, and I guess it wouldn't have mattered if he went first overall anyway, you know?
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad we didn't have the pressure of first overall and like making that perfect first pick because
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
we were still able to get our guy at 5. So
5 was a pretty nice spot. We got the kind of almost a wheel pick. We got 2 great players.
Yeah.
But we'll move on. Number 2 is Robert Phelps, Drunken Teddy.
I mean,
Yet
that's
another
a great
pick I'm
Teddy
not
is
really surprised by either.
Teddy's amazing. Like I don't blame Massachusetts for taking him one bit.
Yeah, I mean,
all around class dude, high earner, very helpful. He's just great.
we did a lot of scouting of Teddy, and I had some good talks with him, and I didn't know where he would go to his high, and it's a right spot for him. So it sucks that we don't have him, but he'll be a really good player for Massachusetts.
That Mass center core is looking scary though, with Jason Teddy down the middle. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's definitely the best in the league. I think our center core is pretty good. But
I don't think it compares to our winger depth, though. I think we have really good depth when it comes to both lanes.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, but I mean, we have pretty good center depth, but I think there still beats anybody.
Yeah.
And we can talk about how our team stacks up a little later, but I do like where we're at on our team. I mean, we filled the needs really well. That's kind of what we were looking at during the draft, so that's...
Wait, did you just sell the poppies, Flash?
What?
Did you just sell the poppies?
No, I have a bunch. Why? Do we need them?
I think we need one for the bundle. Sorry to get off topic. Yeah,
no, we're good. Okay, but let's move on to 3, who was Mash, right?
Yes.
Mash. Yeah, it was Sirkowski.
That's a no-brainer, honestly. Like, Mash has been doing a lot of work for the league so far. He's a great user, and every sim league he's in, like, good guy in the locker room. I don't think there's anything wrong with that pick. I feel like he deserves to go high, and 3 is a pretty good spot.
You can say the next thing about the next pick, too. Cal going number 4 to Vegas.
Oof. So we had a backup plan, actually. If Cal dropped to 5, we were going to grab him.
Yeah, and pray that Joe fell to 8. But then our right wing depth would be like fucking crazy.
But he didn't, so he was 5th overall.
Well, we figured it was a fat chance he'd probably go before 5. I mean, falling to 4 even kind of.
We didn't even expect him to fall to 4, to be honest.
We thought he'd be way up there, but it's a really good pick. You know, we hope he enjoys his time in Vegas. Things can change though, and hopefully we're enticing to him if he ever decides to test out other teams. You know, that's what I tried to build here in our LR2. Like, I want to be a hot free agent destination. I want people to see our team and how we are in the locker room and go, oh shit, I want to be part of that and hop on over.
Oh,
so
yeah. Hell yeah.
We're hoping to attract some tasty fish in the ocean of free agency, and we're trying to save some money to do so as well. I'm really happy with how contracts went.
Oh,
just as
yeah.
a tangent, like everyone really fucking went in for the team. Ah, dude, digging through the trash. Anyway, everyone took a nice contract for the team. We had so much money left over that we're like, it'll be a waste if we don't give it to you. So we're giving out some more money now, and we'll have enough next season to sign either free agents, or if we just don't need it, then we can give it back to the players some more.
Yeah, just give everyone some nice bonuses. Yeah, everyone was super great. Just like taking. I mean, we had so many people take minimum contracts. Like we got both our goalies to minimums. We got to a minimum. Me and you, obviously, Clint took a minimum. It was awesome.
And I don't blame people for taking more than a minimum, but
hell yeah.
There was no haggling. It's not like someone went, oh well, I want $8 million, and then we'd be in a tough spot.
I think your $8 million reference was very pointed, and I take offense.
That was just a number I threw out there, but it was painless.
Yeah, I think with the contracts,
it was super easy. We would just approach someone. We were like, hey, like, we'd love to get you locked up for 2 seasons. They're like, yeah, sure. And we're like, what do you think about like $2 million? They're like, sounds awesome. Sign me up. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna take anything to sign with this team. I this was the place where I wanted to go for the draft.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Anyway,
I'm really excited.
Stop pumping our own tires here and move on to the first ever Windy City Cyclones pick, which is Joe K. I mean, he was high on our board to begin with, and with his GM experience, I just think it was a really good choice for us.
Yeah, and I mean, you had to expect Joe being high on our list. Like, me and Slash is 2 St. Louis alums, and like, I took over USA for Joe, and like I've known him for a while, so he's definitely had to be high on our list as soon as he created.
Yeah,
and I think
for me.
Go ahead.
Well, for me, I think he's been one of the biggest influences in my mind that I've had in the SHL. He really helped me adjust to it when I was struggling with it in the beginning. And I don't think if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have kept with it. So I really pretty much owe all of my success to him.
Yeah, so getting Joe was a no-brainer. And I think taking him at 5 was a good choice because I don't think he would have fell too far.
He is a really high earner in all his leagues, so.
Yeah, and he's a great guy in the locker room. He's a leader, and he builds great players. So, I mean, he's a sniping winger. He's going to score some nice goals for us, especially with our next pick in the middle, who.
We're not there yet. Oh no, we got UConn.
Passing. I know.
UConn took Goonie and Mayu next, so we can kind of bunch those if we want. Mayu's a great pick. Everyone's saying he'll be a stud defenseman. He's one of the top earners in his class in SHL, so I don't see why he wouldn't be in this.
Yeah, for sure.
And Goonie is interesting. I don't know a lot about him except what he said in general about like coding the game and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty big for them. They get some pretty vast sim knowledge. So I think those are 2 pretty good picks. I think UConn should be able to have some good strategies with Goonie on the team.
Yeah, I mean those are solid picks. And you had some good talks with Goonie too.
Yeah, it's a good dude.
He was up there on our board, but
the way the picks we had, like it just wasn't gonna work out.
Yeah, I mean, nothing against him, but I didn't want to take him at 5. That's Joe's spot, so
yeah,
just wasn't meant to be. But that's okay. Lots of things can change, but yeah. Now our next pick is Flappy Giraffe, Arthur Callahan.
Yeah, so I think Flappy was always on our radar, and I knew, like I never really got to know him, but on SHL I know he was like the GM of Winnipeg, and I saw him on the forums, and he always seemed like a good dude. So I was like, hey, like He's building a speedy forward. He's gotten all the TP. Like, I think this guy is definitely worth like our second round pick. And I'm really glad we took him because he's been nothing but fantastic. And he's even making sigs for us now, which is awesome because he makes some
I'm
beautiful fucking
excited to see the
sigs.
one he makes for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't sold on him until he replied to my PM with the beer clink emoji.
Yeah.
And then I knew that we had to get him.
Yeah, for sure. And then we
Mike
got the
Izzy
augment.
is one of the top earners ever in the SHL, so getting his multi means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. He's not an actual multi. Don't get in trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, we had a couple thought processes going through our head, and it was kind of like a draft day decision that we were gonna take Flappy at 8.
Yeah, it was.
I still think
pretty
it was
late.
a hell of a pick.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really decide on what we would do. Like, pretty much after Joe, we knew we had to get Joe first, unless somehow Cal fell. Like, that was our plan A and B. But after Joe, it was kind of up in the air until very close to the draft, in which we went, let's go Flappy. I mean, we saw what Mash was telling us about all these picks in the first 2 rounds, and we were like, I think Flappy is our choice there.
Yeah, because the way I saw it, there was no way that Flappy would fall past, like, to our 3rd round pick.
Oh, no way.
Especially with all the time in between, there's no way.
I get it, it's a snake draft, and, like, everyone got the same amount of picks, but it was fucking brutal having, like, 9 picks or 8 picks between our two, like...
Yeah, it was not fun.
Oof.
Yeah.
But, we still made the best of it, so I'm happy about that. Moving on, we had, Rabbit Sponge at 9.
Yeah, so Rabbit was definitely on our radar. I love Rabbit. Like, I've shared some locker time with him in PB at the Outer Banks Aviators, and he's been nothing but amazing. And I wish we had the chance to take him. Like, he would have been a great pick, a really solid defenseman. And I'm happy he went that high because he joined kind of late, so I didn't know how much recognition he would get. But I'm glad that he got some recognition in the second round because he built the 2000 TPE player in SHL, and even though like the sim hasn't taken a liking to him, that's still a pretty big feat, and he's one of the best players in the PBE too. So that's kind of a no-brainer in the second round for me. Like, just a really solid pick.
Yeah, like, we knew we weren't gonna get everyone we liked, and unfortunately, it just, again, didn't work out to where we got him, but we do wish him luck. Where'd he go? Vegas built a really good team from what I saw. I mean, they were sniping us all night. Everyone we were looking at, like, a lot of them went to Vegas, so...
Yeah, Vegas was taking their time, but I guess they were just trying to figure out who they were going to snipe from us.
Yeah, dude, someone was fucking leaking our picks, I swear to God.
Yeah, I think we already have beef with them now.
I mean, yeah, if they're trying to build half the locker room that we built, then they have a really good locker room already. But lots of good picks there, and we know a lot of them, so it'll be tough facing them, and hopefully we don't have to always face them. That's pretty much my mindset going into this. It's like, yeah, you picked them in the Season 1 draft, but we'll see where they end up in their career, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
But moving on, then we have Beaver.
Beaver's a great pick. I love Beaver.
Yeah.
Love the dude.
I was lucky enough to spend some time with him in San Francisco, and he's arguably one of the best guys I've ever played with, both from a player standpoint and a general personality.
Yep. He's a good TPE earner. He's got a fucking great player name, Rumpelstiltskin Beaver. I laughed so hard when I saw that. Like, just an all-around great dude. Does he hold a job in this league? I'm pretty sure he does.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does.
He's something.
He's something important.
His name is not blank in the Discord, so it's something.
Yeah.
I think I can. I have it up. I should be able to check.
That's okay. Then at 11 we have Massachusetts. We saw this one coming. Carl went to Massachusetts.
Beaver's
pick.
in the head office.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
But yeah, Carl going to Massachusetts. I heard this from talking to their GMs. They said basically if he doesn't go before 11, they'll grab him. And as much
Now,
as I wanted to snipe him at 8, I just feel like going with who we went with is the better choice for our team. It's really tough to make that choice. That was one of the toughest GM
That's a
choices.
really tough decision. Like we love us some Carl. Being Edmonton guys, like I've been with Carl since I got drafted to the SHL. So like, I would have loved to be able to have him on the team.
Technically they didn't draft you. You got traded, and
but it was the day I signed my contract that I got traded over there. So I pretty much consider myself an Edmonton draftee.
I haven't really interacted with Carl much, but from what I have seen from him, seems like a pretty class guy. I don't really have
just like a super chill dude, and he likes playing games. He likes making jokes. He just really good dude overall, and I would have loved to have him.
I wish he would join the Pride Discord though, because like I get he's a GM and all, but he used to play for the Admirals.
Yeah, he did. That was his first team.
I don't know. He spends a lot of time in Edmonton and not a lot of time in any other Discord from what I've seen. Maybe Kelowna where he's got a junior player, but other than that, I don't see him in a lot of like rando Discords like some people are, so it's probably why I didn't join. But still, that was tough to kind of let him go, you know, and know that he would go to Massachusetts and just make them better.
Yeah, that was pretty tough.
But we do wish him the best, and he's gonna kill it there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially with Ace there, like that's a pretty good thing for they got going there, bringing it back.
Yeah, I mean, Carl said that people thought he had bad blood with Ace, but no. I don't think.
They still game share on Xbox.
I don't think they fucking care that much about whatever SHL drama they've got put on them or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, great pick. Number 12, LA again.
Tyler Stanton.
Yeah, and that's a big fucking gap from 1 to 12. Like, that's also brutal. Basically, Vegas and Vienna kind of... They're 3 and 4, but they got a nice little sweet spot where they're picking every, 5 or 6 picks.
That's pretty nice.
Which is good. But, yeah, so Stanton...
I don't really know much about him. I don't think anyone does.
I think he's a VHL guy. I mean, he was a top earner. Mm-hmm. So, obviously, he was on our radar a little bit, but not as much as, like, the guys we knew, you know. Like, we didn't really know anything about him. So, it was tough to, like, put him super high.
Well, the way us and Ace were grabbing, like, SHL guys, I think that's kind of the route they went, but with VHL guys.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, SHL versus VHL. Here we go. The age-old conflict.
Then Los Angeles ended up taking the SHL guy next, Borje Samuelson.
So that's Rice Bowl. So I had some really good talks with Rice Bowl prior to the draft, and I would have loved to pick him up. I never really got to talk to him in SHL because I was like never on the riot or anything. But like every time I saw him on site, he was just a classy dude.
Yeah,
and I had talked to him before I messaged him before the draft. He was like, "Yeah, Cyclones look great," and he was definitely on our radar as a defenseman. But
I love Rice. I was fortunate enough to play with him both in Seattle. I think, no, not in Seattle. I played with him when he was traded to San Francisco for half a season, and he's exactly as you said. He's a class guy.
And like all of these guys going that we wanted and had on our board, I wouldn't call them snipes yet, just because what I'd consider the snipes is like when we literally said like, all right, we're gonna get this guy next, and then all of a sudden they're off the board, and we're like, what the fuck? that was pretty. It was pretty like frustrating when we were like finally decided on who to pick, and then with the next pick they're gone.
There was one pick that I literally had it loaded up. I was ready to press enter, and the pick before Vegas like picks them. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there are quite a few of those, so we'll note those when we get to them, and maybe those people, if they're listening, would at least know like that we did really want them. Like, I know some people might have thought that like we were really high on them, and we were. It was just hard to like. This was a crazy draft. It'll probably be the fucking craziest draft I'm ever a part of, just because of all of the crazy earning users and like great
Yeah.
people that were a part of it, and like how
There,
far
there
some
are
people dropped.
there are so many people in this that would be a top 5 pick
Yeah.
in like any of the draft. It's unreal.
So, I mean, we'll note everyone who we thought really highly of, and if we don't note you, don't think that we weren't looking at you anyway. Like we try to give everyone a fair shot here, but yeah, I'm still really happy with how it turned out. Like I don't know if I would go back and change a lot, you know.
Yeah.
It would be fun to do it again, just to like try to not get sniped somehow, but I still really love our team, so I am happy
Yeah.
going into season 1 with it. But we can move on to Baylor. Baylor is a fucking great pick for Massachusetts. God damn it,
Dude,
Massachusetts.
that's a scary team now. Baylor's going to be like a premier scoring winger, and that's really scary along that side. Their center depth. They're going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think Massachusetts is probably at this moment in time the team to beat.
Yeah,
Which is why we will.
Yeah, Baylor being an HO and like just being like an all-around good user in pretty much every league, like that's a really solid pick for them. Like,
Yeah, he was my GM for a couple seasons, and I had no bad interactions with the dude. I personally think he was a nice guy.
that's definitely. I think that was definitely the best player available at that point, and like I think
Probably.
they nailed that pick.
He was real high on our board, but we just didn't have the right spot to get him, you know?
Yeah.
Next up we get Trotner.
So I assume you guys don't Trotner that much. He's a PB guy. I know he's an SHL, but he's definitely more of a PB guy in my draft class.
I would say
he's
this was probably the first big shock of the draft. I guess he was a quick riser.
Call it a shock. If you know Trotner, then he's definitely worth the pick here. Like, he's in my PBE class, and he's the only player he's out earning me in the PBE, and I'm pretty much a max earner, and he's still way ahead of me, which is crazy to think about. And he's just an all-around great dude. He's GM'd a minor team and now a major team in the PBE. That's definitely a really solid pick for them. Like, no complaints at all from me. Like, if I was on that team, I'd be super happy to get him in the third. That's the third round, right? Yeah, the third round. That's really solid.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I don't have much to add. I think just good pick for the third round. Should be active. Anything can happen though, but
yeah.
Solid.
Cherokee Jack sims really well too in the prospect showcase. Not that means much, but.
And then we have this is
another great name.
Kentucky Colonel, right?
Yeah. Alberto McGuire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had really good talks with him, at least you did.
Yeah, he was one of the first players that we scouted, and I was really... He seems like a really solid pick. I don't really know what leagues he's in. I don't remember if I asked him or not, but I mean, he's a max earner right now. He's a defenseman, which is like a premium position. And that's a really solid pick there.
Yeah. And the pick after that was another Windy City.
Yeah, so next up we have Nick
Billy
Cox.
Willie.
Yeah, so we actually thought about taking him second round. I'm sure he wasn't happy that we kind of let him drop a little bit. We know that some people know him, and if you do know him, then you know he's a great guy and that he'll most likely earn a lot. I mean, he's great in the SHL. One of the top earners again in the class.
He's a beaut.
It was
I got nothing bad to say about him.
Terrifying to let him fall to the third round even, and the end of the third round at that. We did hear that one or two teams scouted him. We know a couple of people are in a server with him and know how fun it is to have him around and play games with him. So we really wanted him, and we were so grateful that he fell to us again.
Yeah, because the plan originally was to go with Nick at Nick at 8. But the day of the draft, I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Like, there's no chance we get Flappy past 8. There's no way he falls, but there is a chance that Nick falls. So we took the chance, and it paid off. We got both of them. So
Yeah.
And they're a great duo. They're both in Winnipeg and SHL, so they
yeah,
have
we're
that
gonna
kind
have
of
a solid
connection.
center core with those two top 2 centers. Woof.
And Nick's already at 66 faceoffs, so he'll be shredding the dot.
Hell yeah.
Good player, good guy, and we're so happy that he was able to join the team. And then UConn got Jordan Von Matt and Ryan Point.
Jordan Von Matt is a really awesome dude. He's on my PB team, and he's just really great to have around. He's always like, I've never seen him say anything negative. He's always just the most positive, like, happy doing there. He's always like, hey, we're up when the stream's on, just like kind of being like, hey, let's go. And he's just a great dude to have in there.
Yeah, I've never interacted with him, but from what you're saying, he sounds like a class guy.
Yeah, he is.
And I don't know much about Ryan Point,
No,
but he
do I.
did do an interested prospects for us. So he
Yeah,
has some good answers for
he
that.
seems like he's a VHL guy. He was a max earner, I know, at that point, but we didn't really know him, so.
But moving on, now we're back. I know this is. I love
This is a
Clint,
pick
but
that I love.
this is a Trella pick 100%.
Yeah.
You were so
well-
scared that Mass was gonna grab him.
Yeah, I had a feeling that Ace was going to be that guy and grab my brother player. He was scaring me a little bit because he messaged Clint pretty early when he got named, so I was like, oh, shit. I think we might have been able to take him a little later, to be honest, because the other teams weren't going to take him with that article he released, but I'm glad we got him, and I think he's deserving of a 4th-round pick. He's a max earner. He wasn't going to the draft, and he still is. And he's always in the locker room. He'll play games. He'll do whatever. He's just a really nice kid. So I think that's a great pick.
I think
the one thing that could possibly be a slight negative is his player state on the SHL right now. But other than that,
but I mean, I'm not really worried about that, especially since we're on the same team with other players. I'll just like kick his ass a little bit if he slows down. When we were,
that's why I said it was a slight negative.
me and
Because
Slash
you
helped
get on
develop
everyone's
this
asses.
league. Yeah, me and Slash helped develop this league, and I told Clint about it as like a little secret because me and him message every day. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna not tell him. And he would ask me about it every day once he heard about it, and once he kind of found out how cool it was gonna be. So he's really pumped about this. He's really into it. So I think,
yeah, I'm excited for it. I think this is gonna be great.
yeah. So I think he's gonna do great.
I think Ace would have grabbed Clint if not just to talk about Bruins with him. Have a Bruins guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is good that we got him and we don't have to worry about like having to trade for him or whatever kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Just get him on the team and we're safe. So then here's where the picks really got crazy and the draft really got crazy. I mean, I feel like we had a solid plan going into this, and even letting Nick fall to the 3rd round, like we knew, like we're gonna get Nick and then Clint, and then we'll see where we are. And then people started going off our board. Our board just got fucking checked off by other teams. Like each pick was like someone we had, and we're like, oh fuck. So next up we had Francis J. Underwood. I don't. Who's the user on that?
That's Smitty. Big J Smitty.
Smitty, right?
Yeah, so he's a really good dude, and he's a good earner in pretty much all his leagues. So, I mean, that's a really solid pick. He wouldn't have really made a lot of sense in the Cyclones because it would have been really redundant with my player as he's a point shooter, a right point shooter, and so am I. So it wouldn't really made too much sense to pick him. But there's really nothing wrong with that pick at all for that. Like that's really solid.
And then another Petrov and Boris.
Yeah, Mav is a great user. I haven't really had too much interaction with him. Obviously, through PBA I have, but like I've never heard anything but good things.
I was teammates with him in the NSFL. He was a nice guy.
Yeah, I've never heard anything bad about him. He's a good earner in the league, so again, another good pick.
And then we have I don't know.
Jack
I don't know about Ace. I think this is a Luke pick, being good old Kimmy. going to
No offense to
Mass.
Kimmy, but I think there's been a little bit of reach. I think they could have grabbed Kimmy a little later, but still, Kimmy's a great dude.
I
Like,
know Luke will get on his ass. I mean, he was kind of being
yeah, he was kind of
little
being a little
dramatic and
shaky.
saying he didn't know if he wanted to be in the league. I'm sure Luke will get him to come around and he'll kill it. But
yeah, now that he's there, I feel like he's gonna do fine.
Could have been probably the best possible landing spot for him.
Yeah, I think I would have loved to get Kimmy, but I think he's in a good spot in there, and I think he'll do great.
yeah, it's a little too high for my liking for Kimmy. But I mean, if he was super into it, then I would look at him there. But he's
Yeah,
a little wavery, so I'll be like,
yeah. Like the night before the draft, we were in a voice chat with him and Cal, and he was updating. He was like, I don't really want to do this league. And I was like, all right, well, and I kind of marched him off our list.
take out the red pen.
Yeah,
And then we
Dave,
have Mikael Ogorn.
Ogorod.
yeah.
That's
So that's
Enorama, right?
Anorama. Yeah, so that's a really good pick for that's LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. They Anorama should not have gone that late. I understand that. I think they're from VHL or something like that. They're from our league, and this is mostly SHL guys. But I mean, he's an EHM wizard, or she. I don't want to assume, but that's a really solid pick that late. Top TP earner, EHM wizard, going to do really good things with LA. Really going to help him out.
Yeah.
So I love that pick.
Yeah, I have nothing to say badly about that pick. And also Kevin Cushing, that's KC, right?
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that's really solid getting him that league too, because he's like a monster TP earner in every single league, pretty much. Like he's just a really good earner, and I know some people have some choice words to say about him, but I've never had any issues with him. I'm pretty fond of the dude. He's a good dude, and I think he's excellent in the locker room. He's always in there, kind of hyping people up, getting people going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he is more of a hit or miss guy. Either you like him or you don't.
yeah,
I
for
have
sure.
no particular opinion on it, so.
Yeah, I'm with him in what's it called, Arizona in the SFL, and he's been nothing but great in there. So I had really nothing to say negatively about him.
Next up, we got Vlad Petrov. That's interesting that Muford went to Mass because I think he was campaigning to go at 2, and Ace said not at 2. So I do think it's pretty funny that he still ended up going to Mass. But
Yeah,
he fell very far. I know he's an enforcer, but he'll make a good player at least until everyone starts hitting their prime and getting those 90 stats. That might be where he kind of hits a wall and may have to think about what his archetype is and how to work with that. But for now, he's going to be a really good player and a steal at that late. And
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And now this next pick, in my personal opinion, in terms of TPE numbers right now, could have been a bit of a reach. But for the user, I'd say it's a perfect landing spot. It's a enigmatic to Vienna at 27.
Oh yeah, Enigmatic's great. I mean, like I've talked to her for brandings.
she branded
Like,
this whole
she
fucking
branded the
league.
whole
Yeah.
fucking league, so I think she's a pretty safe
Sexy.
bet. Um, that's a great pick. Honestly, I really have nothing negative to say about that. Great user, great pick. He's gonna make a great player.
Yeah, and we're
And
very
then
thankful for the
next up
branding.
was uh, who did Vegas picked?
Buck Maverick.
Yeah.
It's time
So
consumer.
I was really surprised to see this happen so early.
Yeah, it was very early, especially after some of the media. I don't know.
Yeah. We weren't really considering drafting him. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna sneeze.
You're good. Yeah, I mean, if the media that I saw was, kind of in jest and like it's not serious and he will be a decent locker room guy and all that, then that's a good pick. But after like some of that rush shit and all that, I'm a little wary of like shitty media and like kind of stuff that's like, oh, I'm gonna expect a really big contract and I don't want to do this or that, like kind of bossing the GMs around. I don't know about.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
that's always been suspect.
And I actually have like shared locker rooms with Time Streamer. He's a really solid dude.
Yeah.
Didn't know if I wanted to deal with that as a GM.
Especially being kind of younger GMs where we're not as a hard ass as probably some of the more vet GMs who just are done with bullshit. Like, we probably would have handled that really poorly.
Much differently.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the kind of personalities on our teams. But moving on, we have Ryan Point. Victor
Petrov. We took he's a goalie.
No, Victor Petrov is
Victor Petrov is
Yo, I'm so happy he fell that hard. He fell
my God.
so hard.
Yes, that was so good for us because we needed another defenseman after me and Clint. Defenseman, the depth wasn't as good as on forward, so it was going quickly, and I think is the perfect guy for us to pick.
I mean,
Studley.
Yeah, I think we were looking at our board and we're like, who's the top guy right now that hasn't been picked? And we're like, oh shit, still here in round like fucking 5, and like we looked and like, Enigmatic went, and then Time Consumer. We're like, dude, no one picked we gotta grab him right now. So probably
that's pretty much a no-brainer.
One of the easier picks in the draft, grabbing him.
Yeah, and I feel like we're getting a little flack for that pick because he wasn't at high TPE, but that he literally did all his shit. He just didn't claim it before the draft.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
We know we share a locker room with him in Edmonton. I've shared a locker room with him in St. Louis. Like, he is a max earner in every league he's in. He's a great dude. He's a good leader in a locker room.
And I think
don't doubt him.
There's no person I'd rather have had at that spot.
Yeah.
And he's a left defenseman, which is a position of need. Like, honestly, I think we nailed that pick. And he's already up with the pack. He claimed everything. He's up there with the rest of them.
I think he's a little upset at how far he fell, and I think it's going to motivate him to want to make the GMs who passed on him regret it too. So
yeah,
we'll get to this more later.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but we are at 42 minutes, so let's kind of...
God damn!
Let's just wrap it up with our picks.
Yeah, I think if y'all request it, then we'll kind of do another rundown where we pick up from... What pick is this? Pretty fucking early.
We are at pick 30.
Yeah, so we might go from 30 and keep going through 100 picks. But for now, let's just look at our team.
So we have Asher Donovan next. That's Dangles. Yet another pick that I think was pretty awesome.
So I think we were hoping CK fell to here.
Yeah, as a left winger. Because we didn't have any left wingers at this point. So we definitely need to pick one up.
We saw Dangles was still there, and we're like, oh shit. Dangles is real good in SHL, and we've never had any bad experiences with him. So
he's a great teammate.
Yeah, he should be a great pick.
He was the GM of the Seattle Spartans in the GMHL, and like he picked me up, and I went inactive over there, and I after him was like, hey, can I recreate? He's like, yeah, no problem, and he picked me up right again, and gave me a second chance. So that was pretty cool of him, and I've always liked him.
Yeah, so that's a great pick, and then next up we have so a little story before this. We were talking to some people, and specifically Joe thought that we shouldn't take a goalie too early. And I kind of figured like everyone was a little scared to pull the trigger on getting a goalie because they wanted to see, how far all of them would drop. So I think we got lucky and just deciding to go with the goalie we wanted instead of having someone else pick one and maybe even the one we wanted, and then everyone starts drafting goalies. But I mean, you can see a goalie was selected, and then throughout the next couple of picks, more goalies went because they're like, oh shit, goalies are going. Pick our goalie.
The goalie we took was Mikhail Petrov.
T.O.
Yeah, he was the highest goalie in our draft list since he created since the start. We were like, all right, we want T.O. That was really a no-brainer pick for us. We didn't see anybody that wouldn't have fallen that we liked more than him. So, I mean, that was a really easy pick to make for us.
Yeah, and I'm super happy that we got, the first goalie instead of having someone grab TO and we're looking and we're like, okay, we'll take this guy, or like maybe everyone bum rushes the goalies and then we're stuck with someone who's good but we just didn't want as much.
Yeah.
We just bit the bullet and went with it, and it paid off. Next up, we have Jerry Taveri.
Jerry Taveri.
Tommy was on the stream, I think, saying like, "I want to go to
He
Windy
was.
City."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. I think
I-
I came on a couple of players after him.
Yeah, and I had a good talk with him. He's a good guy in SHL. He's earning a lot, and really happy to hang out with him. So it was good to pick him up here. We know he's a good locker room guy, and he'll have some fun on our team. I don't really have anything huge to say. He was a good pickup.
Another left winger, though. That's pretty huge for us.
Yeah.
We needed more wingers.
We started looking here instead of, like, I guess, best player available. I mean, he is one of the best available there, but we're really looking at needs at this point and like, okay, so we can fill out our top 6 if we pick this guy and this guy, you know? So
Yeah.
that's where it became a little more strategy and a little tougher. We spent a little more time looking at these picks, and some of the easier ones were like, we'll just fucking grab and TO, you know? Like, those are obviously positional needs too, but it was a little more deliberation on these.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And the next pick.
Oh, look who it is. Why don't you explain what went through your mind?
Okay. So my player is Jakob Larsson. I personally thought I was going to go much higher than this. I thought I was probably going to go around 6 or 7. Based on how active I'd been since I joined the league. But I was personally very angry at the not at the team. I'm really happy to be here. I was angry at the slot pick because I thought I was going to go much higher. And I remember joining Discord and pretty much saying I want to prove all these guys wrong because I feel like I personally believe in myself and I'm going to be as active as I can be on the site. And I just want to prove everyone who passed on me wrong that my player is going to turn into one of the best wingers in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good plan. I had a similar experience in SHL where I was part of a crazy draft class where people were saying like, some of these second round guys should be top 10 picks, but here we are, you know, it's a crazy class. And
like
going
if you look at
45th, going 45th overall, like, it was good for me because I felt like all I can be known as is either like, oh, he went 45th and he wasn't that good, you know, that's kind of fine for 45th, but if you're good, then you're forever the 45th who is the steal. And
Yeah.
I kind of like that better.
That's what I've been in that situation before with my SHL class.
Mm-hmm.
I went
me as
30th.
well.
Trella went a couple of picks before me.
Yeah, I went 26th in the SHL draft.
I think we both had this mindset when we picked, like, I really that we wanted to prove every GM that passed on us wrong, and I think both of us certainly have. If you look at our players now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a fine situation to go with, and I mean, if you did have to fall a bit, but ended up getting on the team you wanted instead of being mad at them for passing on you over and over and then not even ending up there, you know. I think you're a great addition to the team, and we're really lucky that no one took you higher.
Thanks, guys.
We'll keep moving on here. We got our man Ace Lightning.
That's a hell of a name.
Yeah, I've been talking to him since he was WJC commish in SHL. We've had some good interactions. He's a really funny guy, and I know he can make a hell of a player. So we're just looking for a good center here. If he hops up into the top 6, that's great. And if he stays on pace for a third line center, we still need one of those. So we're just happy to have him in the LR, and we're hoping that he can kind of be a difference maker on our team. throughout the lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be that adds to our really great center depth, and I think that's a steal. He went way too late.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll be an amazing earner, and we did work on like trying to get that good balance of locker room guys. So I think he'll add some good like jokiness to the locker room. You know, we got a lot of those guys already, but you can never have too many.
Yeah. Speaking of locker room guys, I think our next pick probably fills that void as well.
Who we got? Oh yeah, Scruff. Scruff is a god. I can't believe he fell to. I mean, he joined late, which is why he fell. But I mean, I still wanted to snatch him up, and I feel like 11 was a good spot. I don't know how much more he would have fallen, especially with Luke knowing him, and maybe even Snoosu knows him a little from my server.
Yeah.
Yes.
We really wanted Scruff. As soon as we saw him create, we were like, oh yes, thank God he created.
I mean, I talked with him.
And then the next pick, I think this is a steal. Benson at 68.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, we need more wingers. And we didn't talk to Benson, but I've seen him around the SHL, and I know he's on other sites and is active, so I was like, hey, like, we should totally go for Benson here. There's no really better pick. I think this is definitely the best choice.
Yeah, and I mean, he even asked me, he was like, you didn't scout me, so why'd you pick me up? And I was kind of straight with him. I'm like, well, we were looking at the position we needed, and you looked like the best kind of pickup we could have for that spot. And I did scout you during your SMJHL draft. I was scouting for St. Louis. I sent you a message, and you had like a nice reply. You seemed like a nice dude, so you seem like exactly what we need in the LR. Just another guy to kind of be with the buds, and you know, talk every once in a while or as much as you want, and just kind of be a cool dude. And I think that's what we got here. So we're really happy about that pick. Every late pick we have here, I think, is going to be it's going to be known as a steal later on.
Yeah, I think
for example,
next up we got Flem. We had to get Flem.
Flembe. Yeah, even if he wasn't going to be active,
you got to get Flem. I mean, I talked to him. He was kind of iffy about this league. I think we'll be able to get him on track, even if he's not max earner. He'll be a good
today,
earner.
I was on Discord at school, and he was like chatting in the locker. I was like, "Hey, Flemmy, go update." And he was like, "Okay," updated.
Yeah.
So Flem is a god.
Definitely one of those locker room personalities that you want. He's very laid back. Great joker.
Every locker room in the league is hurting without Flem. I'll tell you that.
And then I feel like
if you don't got a Flem, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah. What do you got?
I personally think our next pick is probably going to turn out to be a massive steal.
Oh yeah. So
Irina Cheklova.
I'm not gonna lie. At this point, we were looking at we needed D. And we're looking at the sheet of who's left, and we saw, Blade Maiden, and we're like, who is this? You know, we didn't know them, but they were earning all the TPE since they joined. They joined a little late, but
they joined right before the draft.
They were grinding it, and they were getting all that. Didn't see them talk much in any kind of like Discord or even on the site, but they looked to be a good earner, so we just picked them up, and they joined the locker room pretty soon after we drafted them, and just like kind of surprised us with how active they were. I was really happy.
Yeah, Blade Man like really was a surprise. When we were looking at it, we were like, "Hey, we know all these guys are inactive, but Blade Man might be active."
Mm-hmm.
They joined right before the draft, so I mean, like we should take a shot. It's more likely to be active, and it looks like it's really going to pay off.
Yeah, we pulled that one off.
I mean, we kind of wanted to slot him in our bottom 2 pairing on D, but I mean, if they keep earning, like put them in the top 4, you know.
Yeah,
they could.
I can possibly see that happening.
Yeah, it could be a real good pick. So happy with how that turned out. And next up we had...
I think that's the best name we picked. Crow Suck Me Off Petrov?
No.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Crotch Lick Me Off. Yeah, I was there when Sweetwater created. You know, we got to kind of bug them because they hang out a lot in at least Edmonton and maybe in NSFL and that kind of stuff. Sweetwater's really cool. They play Heroes of the Storm.
For us.
Yeah, so that was a nice pick. Just seeing them still there, we're like, we'll at least get a good locker room guy out of it to kind of hang with the buds.
Yeah.
And we can hope they kind of put some TPE in and do a little bit of the work. You can always link the PTs, so that should be easy enough just to get that going. Solid pick. And then Logan. So this is a controversial one, but I mean, y'all are hating, but he's earning that TPE.
Yeah, I think he was maxed out at the time of the draft.
Yeah, he was.
Which is definitely a steal at the pick that we chose him at, but the baggage, that's why he slipped. That's why he fell.
He is a little abrasive to some, but we love him. We know him well, and you know, once you get to know him, he's not a bad dude at all. He's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if he was going to be in any locker room, if he was going to go to any team with the people we had, Flemmy, Scruff, Joe, and me and you, Bloos, there's no one. I think there's no team that would have better suited him.
Yeah. I think he needs a bit of care. You need to keep an eye on him, but he's definitely matured since he first really burst onto the scene in the SHL.
And we got Uncle Joe to whip him into shape when we need to.
Yeah. Even Logan said Joe's like my grandpa or something, so he can move it to me. I was like, okay.
And after Logan,
our next pick
we grabbed Spec. So we needed a right D, and I talked to him, and he's like, "Yep, I'm not active, so don't pick me." And at the end, I was like, "Well, you're a good locker room guy, and we need a right D, so here's the invite to the locker room. We drafted you."
Well, I think you guys. I think this might possibly be a calculated gamble. Once he gets assimilated, if you kind of pester him enough, I think you might be able to get him an update. That would be huge.
Yeah, I mean, he did say right now he's just doing too much shit. But if he ever, gets some time to sit down and do 2 sim leagues instead of 1, he would definitely consider updating for us and doing stuff. But at this point, having an inactive right D and not worrying about them wanting to jump up in the top 4 when we have a really solid top 4 is kind of
nice. Kind of gives you a little breathing room.
Yes, we have this guy to play bottom right D, and we don't have to worry about it until if they start sucking and getting outperformed, then we look at maybe getting someone else to slot in there. But for now, just having a nice, dependable guy there. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the next pick we had was another solid locker room presence. Not sure about the activity.
Was it Wally?
That is a Wally.
Oh, yeah, it's Wally.
Chevreau.
Alright, so when I saw Wally create, I was like, I really want to pick Wally. And when Joe came in, one of the first things he said was, you guys should draft Wally. I don't know what position he is, but you should draft him. And I agreed. And he was a goalie. He hadn't earned any TP really yet. I think he was at 58. But I was like, hey, we need a backup, and Wally is a great dude. And we drafted him ahead of some really high TP goalies, but I think we made the right choice.
Yeah,
we already had a bona fide starter, too.
Yeah, and T.O. And the first thing that Wally said when he came in, it made me laugh. He was like, hey, the backup's here. And I was like, hey, we'll give you some starts if you just update a little bit. And he's been nothing but great. Contract negotiations, he was like, oh, just give me minimum. Let the back earners get the money. And but we were offering more money because we had so much room. He was like, no, just let the max earners get it all. I don't want any. Just kind of hanging out. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, Wally is. I was one of his draft picks.
Yeah, that
before
whole
the whole
fiasco.
incident. He still owes me $500,000 in SHL dollars, and
I don't think you're gonna get it.
I will continue to point this out until one day, hopefully, I get that money. But he's I had no problems with him whatsoever. He was really nice to me when he was drafted. I think I initially stood by him during the whole fiasco because I didn't think anyone as nice as him could do something that messed up. But I think he's been able to rebound from it, and I think he's also like Noble turned over a new leaf.
Yeah, I think it's really nice to just have someone who kind of understands that they're not going to start all the games and they're going to be a relaxed earner, and that's really nice to have as a second goalie.
He had nothing but nice stuff to say about the brand we made too, which is refreshing.
Oh, I think it's great.
I'm happy that people who like the jersey and like the logo and the name want to play here. It just makes it a little more fun to be around.
Yeah.
And then last pick in the draft was Brock Beck.
This is kind of. I don't even. We had a full roster. We were just kind of like taking a flyer right there, I guess.
I mean, I talked to Twinkies and he said he was like thinking about doing it, and that I should draft him late if at all, but he could possibly earn. He hasn't joined the locker room yet. I don't know where he's at. We used to share a SHL team, but he got traded to New England, so I don't know what. Maybe Ace told him to not join. I don't know. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, we have a really good forward core already of like 100% active people, so it's not the end of the world if he doesn't even join up or sign. But
yeah,
I've never really interacted with him, so
he's
a good
nice.
dude.
We played
He's
some
nice.
games together.
And I guess this wraps it up.
Yeah, we
that's the
passed
draft.
after that because we realized that we were full on roster and had all but one active player, so we're like,
Yeah.
ruffle any feathers
I think
here.
this is. I think for as good as the class is, I think our team made off pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think everyone's excited. I have nothing bad to say about the team that you guys built. I think you guys did some pretty great drafting, and
Yeah.
apparently, I'm gonna go off topic here. And apparently, according to is that Ace in the locker room from that image of Quint sent? Quint sent an image from some guy named Ash about how Gritty sat in his lap, and that is the
Oh no, that's in the Bruins Discord.
That is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Gritty is a saint. As a Flyers fan, I will do nothing but speak in awe of from how he went from something I despised to the greatest meme in hockey history.
I knew
And I
he was a
love that
meme
he's
from the
embraced it.
start.
Yeah,
Gritty was
I
a meme
remember when
from
he
the start.
first came out. Like, it was crazy.
I was like,
The
that's
legend,
fucking hilarious.
the legend has just grown and grown and grown, and I just love Gritty to death.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Back on topic from Gritty.
Sorry, guys.
I will say that going into the draft, our priority was locker room.
Yeah, locker room over TP.
I think Trell and I were very we were on the same page, and even the people we scouted, we were pretty clear that we want to be a good team. We want to be really good. But what the fuck is the fun in winning if you don't have a fun locker room to be in and you hate going to it? So we just wanted to make it a really awesome place to hang out. You wake up in the morning.
I think you guys succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, you wake up in the morning, you pop in Windy City Cyclones locker room, you say, hey guys, everyone says hey back. Say how we do today. Got to win a loss, overtime loss, 2 wins, whatever. You're just happy. If you lose, you're motivating each other to do better. You might even razz someone. You're like, bro, you let in 3 goals on 4 shots. What are you doing? Just little.
That sounds like a
I think
little
when
fun
I realized
stuff.
that was this morning. I'm waking up. A couple days ago, I was. No. This morning, I just remember logging on to Discord on my school iPad. I can't download the app, so I have to use the website. But I was in health, I think, and the first thing I see was Trellis saying "Good morning, everyone." And that made me happy because I think I think it's only going to be the start of a locker room that's going to be absolutely booming over the course of the season and the seasons to come.
Yeah, it's gonna be real fun.
So I think I'm really happy with how we came out of this draft, especially locker room wise and player wise. I think we got some real fucking good picks. Flappy Joe, all those first picks, and then the steals at the end. I mean, it just turned into like solid picks picked where they should be, to steals who fell way too far. And I think our picks can be categorized in those two. I don't think. I mean, obviously I drafted them, but I don't really regret any of those picks. So
it's either a good pick or a good pick. There's no in between.
So
I mean, obviously that can change. Hopefully it doesn't, but we'll see.
We don't want it to change. I certainly don't want it to change.
Oh, me neither, of course.
I can see myself going through the whole season with all these guys being the core. So.
Me too. I want to win that Andrew Joy-Con trophy.
We can talk a little bit. I mean, we're over an hour, but I do want to talk just a little bit about. We were looking at the lines, and like our bottom six is hilariously like grindy.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, we got your player.
I mean, my guy's looking to be more of a smart defensive player than just a brutal, like, grindy, gritty guy. I'm just trying to make, like, smart plays instead of just absolutely getting under the skin. But we have quite a few of these guys with, like, 70 agitation.
Yeah, Benton has 70 agitation and 70 deflections. Like, that's just god tier.
That's legendary. His agitation is at 67.5.
Yeah, no, but in his update, he got to 70 this week, so that's crazy.
I'm really happy that these guys are having fun with their builds. I think it'll help them stick around and not get bored with it, you know?
Yeah, like, as much as like it would be cool if everyone made like top of the line players, but honestly, I'd rather everyone have fun with it, and you know, maybe we'll win some along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with my player, he's more kind of geared toward a top six role. He's a speedy forward, so he's not exactly going to be physical. So I think I'm trying to build more around the whole speed, shot, puck handling, more than anything.
But I think even trying to make a, you know, like a more solid, like, want to be the best player in the league than more of a fun, like, I'll go to 70 agitation, fuck it. I still think
I'm trying to make him as well-rounded as possible.
But you could still have a fun player to build.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've got speed at 50 right now. Like, I'm trying to spread it out as evenly as possible. Don't want to make him, like, too much of a offensively minded player. That's why I've been dumping TP into stuff like poke checking and checking in general.
Yeah, and you'll probably top 6 spot since we got Joe. He's gonna get the top line time, but Kaner's a defensive guy, so and Flemmy, we can always put a little lower if we need. He's not like our top tier active, so.
I mean, I'm
open to playing on either wing if there's a spot.
Yeah, but you got like a bonus for playing on your right side, so like if you play on the wrong wing, you kind of get a penalty.
It'll be tricky, and you know, even if we really wanted to pick someone up and make a run, like, as long as everyone's getting the ice time they want, I would probably scratch myself and give someone some good minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of like,
but if we're in the playoffs, we gotta play you.
Yeah.
Because you got those clutch player traits. We're gonna need that.
I should probably get one of those soon.
We'll see how it works out. That's my kind of fun experiment. I just want to get to 100 important matches and see if I'm just dominant or if it doesn't matter. At this point, I don't know. I mean, people have told me little different things, like that it is noticeable that it isn't. So I'm not sure at this point, but it should be really fun just to fuck around with it.
The
I'm not
one thing I
wasting
really know
TP,
about
so
EHM is that it's from the Football Manager family, and I personally watch a fair amount of Football Manager YouTubers, so
yeah.
I get how that works. I haven't played either game yet. Hopefully, I'll get it soon. But for me, I think not knowing much about the whole game in general, it's going to be a bit of an interesting experience, not only with a pretty awesome looking sim engine, but trying to get my player to kind of match with the sim engine as well as he can.
Yeah, it should be fun to just kind of see how everything goes. If someone makes a shitty player, I feel like it's not the end of the world, and it's fixable in this. Whereas in SHL, it's a little harder to fix because you got to do.
Like when your boy dumped some of his starter TP into penalty shots, thinking it was a good thing to do.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, but we should wrap it up. We're at 70 minutes, so
Alright, we're not getting paid for this, though.
yeah. I mean, it still was fun to talk about what the first
30.
6 or 7 rounds, and then just our picks. But there are a lot of steals, and we didn't get to most of the snipes like Blast and Duder. We were just about to fucking pick them, and then
Yeah,
they got
Duder was
sniped.
the one. Duder was the one I had the whole
Duder was
pick even
pissed.
in, ready to press enter.
Yeah, so there were a bunch of those, and maybe if people want, we can talk about that a little bit. But for now, we will
We'll
move
sign off,
on.
and
We'll see either next week or maybe sooner. We might be just doing some of these with some other guys in the locker room, and even if we don't get paid for it, if they do, then that's all that really matters. So
Yeah.
thanks for
alright.
joining us, Bloos, and giving your
Thanks,
input on
Bloos.
this
Oh,
draft.
it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
I'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.
See ya.
You guys have a good one.